All right, so do you remember this? This 33XC is going to be the death of me. Seriously, I have been working on this thing, well, for a month. So basically a bad day turned into a bad week has turned into a bad month, and really it'll be a bad year because, I mean, you can't take an entire month off to work on one project for free and not have a bad year. So but a ton of information has been gained, so much has been learned, and I want to share that all with you. But considering all, and we'll get back to that, all the things that are taking place in our country right now, I thought rather than a whole bunch of doom and gloom, let's start out with a little bit of sunshine, maybe that'll just brighten up everybody's life, days, whatever. There's still hope is the point. So, Hilo, come here. Stand up here. Now talk clearly. Look at the camera. Go ahead.
The Declaration of Independence in Congress, July 4th, 1776. The Unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America.
When in the course
of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Wait, let's go a little bit further. That to secure these rights,
government's long establishment.
That to secure these rights, governments are
instituted among men, driving their just powers to the separation
from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. There's still hope, people. Okay, Al, thank you very much. You did excellent. All right, so now back to the 33XC. At this point, I have 90 rounds through this, and I hadn't mentioned this in any of the other videos because we hadn't weighed it. We weighed this gun this morning. This gun weighs less than 17 pounds. So we have a 33XC shooting 300 grain bullets, 120 grains of powder, anywhere from 31 to 3,200 feet a second. It pounds the crap out of you. Now, it's fine to shoot 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, but that first day I put 60 rounds through it. And I've not been good. I've not been well since then. Now, a lot of people say he's never well, but I've been worse, okay? And it was really weird. So I went out there and I got pounded like that. And then for some reason, which I don't know, maybe subliminal, I watched that Will Smith movie, Concussion. And guess what? Getting hit in the head, by the way, that's a very good movie. Getting hit in the head repeatedly is not a good idea. Think about what happened to Muhammad Ali. So anyways, it messed me up. And then we waited a whole week. I went back, I did a ton of load work and stuff. Figured I'm still gonna go out there, I'm gonna get it. I put 30 more through it. 30 more at one sitting. And those videos are coming, and I kind of don't want to give it away because it's not what you expected. We have learned so much, it's beyond belief. Now, that's the first thing I want to do. I want to thank everybody that called. I have been getting phone calls from all over the entire United States. People have been calling me forever. And the conversation starts out sort of like this. I have a 33XC also, and I can't get it to shoot. And then they go on to say, and my buddy has one, and his buddy has one, and his buddy has one. I think the one guy told me between himself and 5 friends, I think is what he said. A lot of these guys are shooting ELR team competitions, and they're like, we can't get these guns to shoot. Now, we're gonna go into that, but I think we should acknowledge that the guys I'm hearing from are the guys that are having trouble. That makes sense. There may be other guys that are having no trouble whatsoever, and I'm not going to hear from them, right? Although if you're out there and you're watching this and you've got one that pounds one hole, call me, tell me, because we need to gather more information. It's almost like I'm making a 33XC database right now because I have been given a lot of information. So I want to thank everybody that called, and I really prefer phone calls because some of them phone calls were an hour long and a lot of information is being passed back and forth. And the one thing I made certain not to do is I didn't prompt any of these guys. I just let them talk because I was listening for certain key things to see whether these things were going to come up in a repeatable fashion. And what's very interesting is they did. Every person that's having problems did. And a lot of these guys are having problems. They've had multiple barrels. And their buddies have had multiple barrels, and they're still not shooting. Now, I better preface that by saying not shooting. You understand, a half-inch gun isn't good enough. A half-inch gun just won't cut it when you're shooting at targets 1,500, 2,000 yards away. We need 1, 2, 3/10 of an inch, 5-shot groups at 100 minimum. 1/10 would be way better. Oh no, by the way, we don't know. But I'm beginning, this is the third one that I've built. I'm beginning to wonder if the first two guns, the first two 33XCs that I built, if they were the anomaly. Because they both shoot very good. And that red gun, look on our website, that one with the A6-7 bag rider, that thing shoots one hole. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's possible it's the single most accurate 33XC in the whole frickin' world. I don't know. But it may be an anomaly. This may not be what this cartridge is capable of, but I can't say for sure yet. And again, I'm only hearing the negative side of it. So, this video is going to be titled Junk Brass. You can't believe, you just can't believe. Every guy that calls me up, junk brass, junk brass, junk brass. Every single guy said that. And I guess what's super frustrating about it is I guess there have been some lots of it that were good brass. Okay, and so then the very next lot is bad brass. Now, this customer who's in New Jersey sent me, he bought 250 pieces of this from Euro Optics, which by the way, Alex Roy and Jason Bainey, hi, we love those guys. Those are really good guys. That's a great place to buy stuff. Very honest people. We've been dealing with them. They literally started in the exact same year we started, like 16, 17 years ago. And those are awesome guys. So anyways, thumbs up to Euro Optics. But he bought the brass there, and he sent me 110 pieces of it. I've already said this on other videos. Immediately, I sorted through it. 10 pieces were junk, just absolute junk. And we're going to show those. Well, maybe we'll show them right now. I wasn't going to do that, but maybe we'll show them right this very minute. So look here. This you're not going to be able to see. You see these two that I have written bad on? The deal with these two is the shoulder is in a completely different spot than all of the other brass. These wouldn't even go in the gun. They wouldn't even come close to chambering. The shoulder is about, I'd say it's somewhere between 50 and 100 thousandths further forward than all the other brass. So there's those two. Now, this, I don't know, this is going to be difficult to see, but I really need you guys to see this. So try and look at this primer pocket. Vicki, focus very slowly. Can you see it?
I think so.
Can you see it? Look, I'm going to move it. Let me do this.
That's pretty close.
Okay, and now I'll back up. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but this primer pocket is completely mangled, and it has essentially two flash holes, two side by side. I'm assuming these are being punched, and it looks like the punch hit it twice. Okay, look at this one. And again, what we're looking at is the flash hole. Okay, can you see it? Yes or no? All right, you gotta let me know what you can see, Vicki. Now look at this one. Same deal. It's essentially two flash holes. They're figure 8 shaped. They look like an 8. All right, so that's those. And you notice I made dummy rounds out of all these. It's not like I wasted them. This one's really bad. It's got a great big burr on the outside.
Wait, hold on.
Can you see that? All right, I'm going to go to the next one. Look at this. Okay? Another one, completely mangled. All right, now look at these two. Pretty much it's the same thing. Here, I'll hold both of these up. Okay, see if you can see those. All right, mangled. Okay, so whether you can see that or not, you're just going to have to take my word for it. They're mangled. And of course, I got rid of those right away. I made dummy rounds and stuff like out of them. Now, I took this gun out. That first time, I put 60 shots through it. And then I came back, and this is the videos you haven't saw. You're at least 3 videos behind right now, because we've shot this gun 2 times on 2 different days. That first video is going to be at least 2 videos. The second day is probably going to be at least 2 videos. So that's how far behind we are. But I went back into the reloading room after shooting it the first time. I ran the brass back into the gun. In other words, I didn't do anything to it. I knocked out the primers with a dedicated decap die, which means I didn't touch the brass, all right? Knocked out all the primers, and then I tried to chamber them all again, and they were all over the place. 15 of them went back into the gun like they were brand new. You couldn't tell the difference. They just went in, the bolt dropped. There was 5 or 6 or 7 that wouldn't go in. There was 3 that were so hard they wouldn't go back in at all. Now, obviously, we had different chrono readings. We were messing with stuff. So I'm allowing for the fact that we were messing around with things, and that is going to change pressure. So they were subjected, in all likelihood, to different levels of pressure. But, and I'm just making a general statement now, not in this case, but if you shoot them all the same, with all the same bullets, with all the same powder, with all the same temperature, if they all go back in the gun uniformly, that's a pretty good lot of brass, whether it was hard or soft. In other words, they expanded the same, they contracted the same, they snapped back the same. All right, but if you take it out and you shoot, say, 50 shots, and you got 10 that'll drop in, 10 that barely go in, 10 that you couldn't beat in with a hammer, and the other ones you couldn't even begin to put in, that is not a good lot of brass. What we're talking about is consistency in hardness or softness. All right, I'm sure there's technical terms, I don't know them. The point is, they didn't want to go back in the gun uniformly at all. Now what I did is, I've got 15 of them that went back. So then, on the advice of Ken at Brooks, and I may have mentioned this on the other video, we were running 2,000 loaded round neck clearance. And he's like, that's way too tight. Go to 6,000 total round neck clearance. So I did turn the necks on those, and I did retrim them back to the original length. And then we took them out to shoot them. Now, I'm not going to give it away because it's like, oh yeah, this is cool, it's a cliffhanger. And because this gun is literally beating us up so bad financially, the more views we get, the better, because anything's going to help now. Because, you know, I basically got a month's worth of free work in this. So, interesting things happened. I will say that. It's going to be definitely worth watching. There's a lot to learn. But I'm going to skip from that to right now where we're at right here. And I want to show you something. So these are some of the original brass. This is once fired that was turned with 2,000ths total loaded neck diameter. In other words, 2,000ths clearance from the chamber, 1 thou on a side. And I want to show you something. So you realize the bullet won't go back in. I mean, I don't know whether I would have enough strength to push that in there or not, but that's what I did when I went out to shoot those 15 and some of the others, original ones, when I went back out. In other words, I didn't do anything to it. I just knocked the primer out, put a new primer, cleaned the primer pocket, put a new primer in, turned the necks thinner, and trimmed it back to the original length and seated a bullet. So when I took them out, those 15, when I spun them, they were flawless. They were so perfect. I've never saw brass. I've never saw a loaded round with less run out than what those had. So if they were going to shoot, they would have. And again, I'm not going to give it away. But what I want to show you though is, you realize, so this bullet will not go back in. These have all been fired once, but they were with 2 thou loaded neck clearance. These have now been fired twice. These have been fired twice. These are some of the ones that I turned the neck so that we had 6 thou total loaded neck clearance. 3 thousandths on a side. Watch. Watch this. See if you can see this. Ready? And that's why I like to run tight necks. Okay? And guys are going to be like, well, did it help? Watch the video. Watch the video. All right? But I don't like this. Okay? The only way that I would be willing to do this is if giving it more neck clearance made it go from, say, a 1/2 inch gun to a 2/10 inch gun. If you gained that much by giving it that much more neck clearance, all right, it would be worth it. But I don't like that. I don't like the brass being abused that much. There's no reason for it to expand that much. It cannot go back down to where it'll even remotely grab a bullet. It just drops right through. Which, by the way, that is pretty much SAMI spec. When you can take a bullet and just drop it in the case like that, you know, when you have a gun, off-the-shelf gun, SAMI spec, that's one of the ways also, by the way, you can tell what your neck diameter is. If it drops a bullet through, you know it's pretty big. If it won't take a bullet, you know it's tighter than normal SAMI spec. All right, so that's that. I gotta make sure that I keep on with what, so I'm in the reloading room now, messing with some of them that were once fired, some of them were twice fired. And I was doing something in one of my processes, and I heard something. And I'm like, what is that? And then, can you hear that? Okay, I'm like, what is in that case? And of course, you know, I got a real bright flashlight. And I look down inside there, and I'm like, I've been reloading for approximately 50 years. Because like I said, I was reloading shotgun shells, I think when I was as little as her. So more than 50 years, I've been reloading. I've reloaded maybe millions of rounds. And I saw a lot of weird stuff with brass. But what I'm about to show you, I have never saw. So we're gonna go over here and I'm gonna cut this in half. Watch this. Because I've looked in here and I know what's in there. I saw it, okay? So I'm gonna put this in the vise. I don't wanna crush it. Now watch this. If you ever cut brass with a hacksaw, you know it's not that easy. It's hard to get hold of. I'm gonna have to pull it back into the vise more. I should have used the cutoff wheel. And maybe I don't even want to cut that completely off here. Okay, Vicky, come over here. You gotta watch when you do that because it gets hot. Now watch this. Okay? Now, I almost wonder if I should get something to lay this out. Watch this. Do you believe that?
Holy cow.
This thing had two, I don't know how to say this. It had two flash holes or two primer pockets. It's like there's a piece of another case. Okay, I'll back up just for a second. Most brass is made by impact extrusion. So you got a die, you got a punch, you got a giant machine that goes along and just literally slams that brass and pretty much cold forms it, okay? What this looks like is, it looks like a piece of another case might have got stuck on the end of a punch or in a die, I don't know. But this case, because look, I don't know if you can see down inside there, now it's normal, okay? It's normal in there, but here's a whole nother piece. I've never saw this before. So anyways, we're gonna go back over there now. Here's the deal, junk brass. That's what it is, it's junk brass. Now, everybody's probably saying, well, is that why the gun isn't shooting? Well, that's definitely one of the reasons, okay? Every knowledgeable shooter knows that if you have junk brass, it's just not gonna shoot. It's just not going to. And I'm telling you, it's weird because I even talked to a customer that is a customer, but we're waiting on building his 33XC. And it's funny, the guys I was talking to, they're at the same mindset right now. They're like, maybe we should just give up on 33XC and go back to 338 Lapua, 338 Lapua improved, which I've had excellent luck with for one reason, good brass. And I've had 15 people say to me, well, if Lapua doesn't make it, then let's just not build it. If they don't make the brass for it, let's just not build it. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of wisdom in that. The problem is that they won't give us all the cartridges we want. But the ones they do give us are really good brass. So, bad brass, all right? Bad brass. And here, there's more to this. And see, that's what I'm thinking went on with this gun. Because when we go out, we usually go out there, we sit down, bang, bang, bang. We're done, it's awesome. All the bullets went into way less than half an inch immediately. It's good. And that's what those other two 33XCs did. They were scary accurate. So, bad brass, all right? Now, the next thing, what do I got to talk about? Oh, the perfect storm. Guess what else all the guys have said to me? And they said it to me without me, I wasn't even talking about bullets. They brought it up. They all say Berger elite hunters won't shoot. They all say they won't shoot. We can't get them to shoot. Now when I say they won't shoot, that doesn't mean they won't shoot half of an inch. What it means is they're not shooting down in the ones, the twos, the threes. They won't shoot. And it's really bizarre because when we were out there putting 90 rounds through this, I had already processed that piece of information in my brain. I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right here. And if you watch the videos, we go to Sierra Match Kings, and I'm not going to tell you because I want you to watch it, but the Berger Elite Hunters will not shoot in this gun. I can tell you that for certain. And all of the other people that I spoke to, which was a lot, they all said, we can't get those bullets to shoot. One guy told me that they have seen those bullets coming apart off the end of the muzzle, 40, 50 yards out there. And another guy told me they have saw A-tips coming apart off the end of the muzzle, which brings up a whole nother thing. Of course, like we're trying to get as much information. In my opinion, everybody's running too fast to twist. All these guys that are having trouble are all running like 1 and 9, 1 and 9.5, 9.7, stuff like that. The two guns that I built, and I hate to give all this away, but I guess I have to because we're trying to build a database. They all were 1 and 10.3. And all the customers were like, that's too slow, that's too slow. Well, yeah, those things hammer. All right, so I'm thinking that these thin-jacketed bullets are being turned too fast. That's a hypothesis. I cannot confirm that. Now, but something else that's very strange about barrels is, and listen to this. The two guns I built that shoot awesome were Bartlein. 5-groove, 5R Bartleins. And all the guys I talked to said that everybody that has one that's shooting good or better are all Bartlein barrels. Now again, this isn't a contest between Bartlein, Krieger, Brooks. That's not what this is about. What's about is, the most important point is, all the guns that aren't shooting are 6-groove. They're all 6-groove. And there's no point in telling the names because it doesn't matter. They were all good name barrels. Barrels that are known to shoot. And these guys are pulling their hair out because they can't get them to shoot, and they're all 6-groove. Now, again, when I was out shooting this, one of the first things that came to my mind is, okay, well, what's the difference? What's the difference between them two that I built that are literally hammers and this one? Those had Bartlein 5Rs. This has 6. Okay? And it will not shoot. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and give that away. I'm done with this barrel. I will not shoot this barrel, not one more shot. No way on earth. I mean, I just don't want to take the pounding, and we're not gaining anything. But that's going to be for the conclusion of all of this. And all I'll say about the conclusion is, we ended up knowing exactly what we knew at the beginning. It's just my basic rules for accuracy, but you'll have to see that on another video. Now, something else that was very interesting that they all brought up, and this is partly why I decided to build 33XC. When this cartridge first came to surface, you're reading on the forums, guys are like 3,500 feet a second, 3,400 feet a second. Lots of guys were like 3,300 feet a second. That is not my experience with these three now, and all the guys I talked to told me the exact same thing. The accuracy node is 31 to 3150. They all said that independently. They just said, yeah, no, it won't shoot. When you try to get up over 3,200 feet a second, they said it won't shoot. That also makes me think that they might be over-rotating them and over-driving them. Maybe that's part of the deal. But again, these guys are ELR, so they don't want to slow down. They don't want to go 2,900 feet a second. 2,900 feet a second, you might as well use a regular 338 Lapua, or, and I'm going to come back to that, 338 Lapua improved, at least my version, will push 300 grain bullets over 3,000. If you had a fast barrel, maybe 31. Okay? So, and that's with 90 to 9,500 grains of powder. In a way, this cartridge is inefficient because you're running at least 120 grains of powder, and your accuracy note is 3150. Well, that's stupid. You have way better brass with the Lapua, way better brass, way less powder, which powder contributes to recoil, and potentially better accuracy. I mean, I think I'm going to start building a lot of 338, 30-degree Lapua improves. That's what I think. That's the direction I'm headed right now. All in Bartlein barrels, by the way. And again, it's not a contest. Not to say it's just the Bartleins seem to be working in 338. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, what else? Oh, when we went out, we did the test on loaded round neck clearance, which I already mentioned that. So we went from 2 thou total clearance to 6 thou. Watch the video. Okay, again, it's not what you expected. I guarantee you that. Really, I think that's about everything that I want to tell you on this, because I don't want this to be a super long video. I want Vicki to be able to get this up, because tons of people are like, we want the information, we want the information. So I understand that. I want to get it all out there. The problem is it just takes forever for Vicki to do all the editing. We need help, and we would have help if we could afford it. So this gun, oh, there's going to be a video. You guys have asked for it. Maybe even today. I'm taking the scope off of this. There's no reason to have it on. And I am pulling that barrel off of that receiver. Absolutely. And when I get it off of the receiver, we'll get the bore scope out, and I'll bring up the laptop. I got to have a laptop so you guys can see it. And we'll take a look what it looks like inside. So I think that's it. Keep watching. The more people that watch, and I've never told people to do this, by the way. You all are videos. I've never said this stuff. But this gun is hurting us. So the more people that watch, any little bit helps, okay? So, all right, we'll keep you updated. See ya.